Priya's teammate snapped at her in a meeting again, and she's stuck asking the same question you would have probably asked yourself at work. Do I say something? Do I ignore it? Or do I escalate at the risk of looking dramatic? Most people handle conflict by either blowing up or shutting down. But the right answer is to use a system, a way to respond with calmness, clarity, without aggression. It's time to use the ACE+E framework. This video will not only just help you master this framework, but will also give you exact phrases and callouts which you can use immediately and apply it in your next tough conversation, so you never feel helpless during a conflict again. Hi, I'm Altaf. I have been a learning and development professional training people on topics like this for over 17 years. And through this channel, I share this all with you so you can apply it in your transformation journey towards becoming a great leader. Let's get real. Difficult people aren't going anywhere. Whether it's a micromanaging boss, a snarky teammate, or a passive-aggressive peer, they test your patience and professionalism. But avoiding conflict isn't keeping the peace. It's bottling up the problem. Even worse, chronic exposure to toxic behavior at work increases your cortisol level, which imparts decision-making and leads to burnout. So what's the fix? You need a clear escalation model, one that gives you confidence, protects your boundaries, and earns respect. This is where the rubber meets the road. Here's a 4-step escalation model, simple but powerful. We call it ACE+E. Assess and ignore strategically, call it out, name the emotion, escalate respectfully, and escalate formally with documentation. Let's walk through each one with scripts and underlying psychology behind each of them. Let's start here. Not every sarcastic comment deserves your energy. Behavioral psychologists call this proportionate response principle. If you over-respond to small annoyances, you become the problem yourself. So here's the rule. If the behavior is rare, mild, and not hurting anyone, ignore it. People self-correct more often than we think. Our brains have a mirror neuron system that helps us regulate behavior in groups. When someone sees their tone or attitude isn't landing correctly, they usually adjust. So if someone is sighing or muttering something under their breath in a meeting, don't react. Stay composed. Often, that's enough. Internalize by saying something, not every reaction or comment deserves a reaction. I'll note it, but I'll let it pass. Okay, so now it's happening again. Maybe they're snapping at you, interrupting, or using passive aggression. Time to speak up, but not to argue, but to label the emotion. This is called effect labeling, which is neuroscience-backed technique proven to calm the activity of the amygdala, the brain's fear and anxiety center. Effect labeling refers to the process of naming and describing the feeling. For instance, John, you seem frustrated, and I sense this conversation isn't working for you right now. You're not accusing, you're naming the emotion. Harvard calls this making the implicit explicit. When you reflect on somebody's emotional state calmly, they often recalibrate themselves. Studies show that naming an emotion reduces its intensity. It gives the other person a sense of being seen without you needing to agree with them on that emotion. Another version of this can be, "Hey Sam, I have been noticing some sarcasm when we discuss deadlines. I'm wondering if there's some frustration under the surface." Frustration is often a safe word to name without accusing. You're turning the subtext into text, making the emotion conscious. Use a calm tone, no sarcasm, no edge. You'll find a link in the description with more such examples to be readily used. Now let's say they keep pushing the boundaries, interrupting, shouting, or undermining you. This is where you will calmly and firmly draw the line. John, respectfully, I don't think I can continue this conversation if this behavior continues. If we can't have a civil dialogue, I have no choice but to pause and pass this to HR. Do you understand that? You are not threatening, you're holding space for professionalism. Another example of this would be, "Sam, I understand that emotions are running high, but if the tone keeps escalating, I won't be able to continue this conversation. We can revisit it later when things have settled, or we can loop in someone from HR. Do you want to start over?" This is called boundary-based language, not blame-based language. People often test how far they can go, but calm, repeated boundaries train them to understand where the line is without any drama. And it also tells a person, you want a resolution, you're willing to talk, but you won't tolerate any disrespect. You see, boundaries teach people how to treat you. Alright, the last resort. If this behavior becomes hostile or recurring, document everything. This is where you become an advocate for yourself. Write down date and time of the interaction, what was exactly said or done, and your response with any witnesses. Then email this to yourself, your manager, or HR with a neutral summary. Keep emotions out. So now HR has a paper trail. You've done your part with professionalism. So let's pause here before we go ahead to an additional mindset tip. With the ACE+E framework, you have now completed an escalation ladder. The one that starts with emotional intelligence and ends with professional accountability. You have learned when to let go, how to calmly name what's really going on, and how to set respectful boundaries that protects your peace and your position. And here's an additional insight. One of the biggest mistakes leaders make is trying to analyze the person instead of trying to observe the pattern. Don't get caught up in wondering, why are they like this? Why is she holding a grudge against me? Instead, ask, what's the recurring behavior and what is it costing the team? This shift moves you from judgment to action, from reacting to leading, because you can't coach a personality in that one conversation. It's very hard. People don't change so easily, but you can address a pattern, and demonstrated patterns can be molded. All right, now it's your turn. Here's your 24-hour challenge. Identify one recent difficult interaction. Ask if it is a one-off or a pattern, and then choose the ACE+E move. Either you choose to ignore, name the emotion, set a boundary, or document and escalate the entire incident. And then come back and drop a comment over here. What part of ACE+E are you going to try this week? I reply to everyone in the comments. And remember, you don't have to be aggressive to be assertive. Quiet confidence is actually the true leadership. You see, becoming a great leader is a journey. It won't happen overnight. You will need multiple nudges like this to be able to make a transformation come true. Thank you for watching, and if you really enjoyed it, then do check out some other videos from the channel that will also help you building such skills. I will see you in the next one.